Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate y'all coming.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Getting Terry back, probably know, what does that do for your offense, and what are you looking to see over these next 6 weeks?
Yeah, we'll see how the week goes. If those guys can make it back this week, it'd be great. But at some point, I expect to have them back. And, I mean, they're two high-end players for us. You know, I think the way teams play us, the way they have to try to defend us will change when you have options like that outside. And just their professionalism, the way they work in practice, the playmaking ability, it will definitely give us a boost that we need.
How important is it for you guys to see, getting these guys back, getting Jaden back at some point, to see what that group together can do down the street?
Yeah, we just want to, maximize who we are as an offense. I think there's been moments where we move the ball, but we're not scoring enough points, and we need to find a way to enhance that. And that's certainly a good way to get some of your best players back on the field and playing at a high level.
The Broncos' defense is kind of good. What have you seen from their pass rush?
Yeah, historically on pace to be one of the best ever, when you're talking in number of sacks. So just a relentless play style, very talented players, whether it's outside guys, whether it's Zach inside, Draymond, like they're loaded. And, the way they are just really relentless in their pass rush. I think you can tell that it's an unselfish nature with which they play. Vance has done a great job creating one-on-ones in his scheme that lets those guys pin their ears back and hunt. So it's a tough challenge, like trying to figure out how to block them in every play. It's been a long week.
And then with the possibility of Pat Surtain coming back, what sort of challenge does he pose just for you as your game plan?
Yeah, he's one of the dominant corners in the league. There's not many, I'd say, that are shutdown guys, if you will, and he's one of them. So if he's going to play into the boundary or travel, you got to know where he's at. And he's one of those guys that can kind of eliminate one of your options on each and every play, and just even in the run game, he'll stick his nose in there. So I've been really impressed by his play style, and if he's back, it's definitely a plus for them.
Kliff, I would never ask a football coach to ignore the present for the future, but bear with me for a second. In order to, whenever the offseason comes, you're going to have to figure out what we have here to go. How do you view that in terms of, I got young guys on offense, Ben Sinnott, the running backs, whomever, that I need to see more of them to know what we have going forward while simultaneously we're trying to win to the next game? Right,
yeah. I think that's always the fine line you walk in this profession. But, we just – overall, as an organization, we just need to play better football, and that's our focus right now. And so whoever that is that will lead us to that is who's going to be out there. And I think, you'll have those discussions, I think, week to week as hey, what does this look like? Who's the best players we need out there right now? But you have to figure out, like, are we trying to continue to, win, play at a high level, or you reach a point at some point where you need to see what you got. And I think we're still in it at this point, and so we got to put our best players out there and try to win games.
And to that point with the receiver room, obviously Luke McCaffrey's out, but Jalen Lane, you brought in Traylon Burks. What have you kind of seen from these young guys that you're hoping to maybe see more of down the stretch?
Yeah, they've made plays when they needed to. There's some plays they'd like to have back, obviously, but very conscientious, hardworking players that you could see with development, the way they work, the professionalism. They got a chance to have a nice role in this league. And so that is exciting to see some of those young guys, when they had their number called, make plays.
Hi, Kliff. Real quick, I know that DQ mentioned yesterday what a different vibe it was having so many guys back from injury. From your standpoint, what were the emotions like now that you have Jaden back, you have Terry back, some other guys, and what does that say about how important they are to this team and what they bring?
Yeah, I think it just lifts up everybody. The way they carry themselves, the way they practice, the way they approach the game, just their communication on the field, the way they talk to young players, and, hey, you could try this on this play, that it lifts everybody up. And so I think all of us feel a boost to see some of your best players back on the field, and the level of practice, the level of execution. I mean, when those guys are out there, guys don't want to let them down either. It's that type of character these guys possess. So they're leaders, and guys want to make plays for them and want to play good for them. And so it's definitely helped us as a unit offensively, having those guys back around.
And for Jaden, I know it's not really surprise anyone that he's probably itching to get back onto the field. Do you have to maybe talk to him about, like, hey, there's a process we have to go through, like, to be able to get you back on the field? What have those conversations been like?
Yeah, he is wanting to be out there as soon as possible. There's no doubt, but he also understands, he's got to get healthy and be 100% so he can play his style and the way he wants to play. And so I think we've done a nice job of working with him to do that. And as soon as he's ready, I'm sure he'll be out there.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Last time Terry was able to come back, I don't want to make too much out of like one play, right? But it was a pretty significant play, the fourth down, miscommunication between he and Marcus as he's been rehabbing and getting ready to come back this time. Is there anything you've changed or that they've changed to kind of try to close that gap for this return whenever that comes?
Yeah, I think just as many walkthrough reps as we could get, when he wasn't able to go full speed. I think that's been really good. Just getting him more dialed back into the offense and a comfort level. And so far I've seen that. I think having him away for a while was tough, but he's been able to walk through with us, really stay in tune with the offense the last few weeks, and I feel good about where he's at.
I know you've been through the Hard Knocks process before. The players yesterday were saying that everybody's been great and it's not been intrusive, but when there is a new wrinkle, it can always has the potential to be somewhat of a distraction or something. How is your experience going to help kind of make sure that it doesn't happen here this year? Yeah,
I talked to the guys. We had a tough year the year they did it with us, so you don't hardly know they're around, and they don't try to make you look bad, never have, never will, and we get final say. So just be yourself. I think it's a cool thing to highlight some of the players we have, their stories, and kind of the type of people they are. So it can be a positive as long as you let it be.
I know this has been kind of a topic of conversation with Jaden since he's come into the league, but taking care of his body, and Dan said something on Monday that, the rest of the season it's about kind of, among other things, learning how to play the game safely. How does that happen? How can you improve that, and do you consider that kind of a skill like anything else playing the position? Yeah,
it's a learned behavior. There's no doubt. And in this league, to survive, there's certain hits you have to try to avoid, and you have to take some stuff off your body if you can at that position. And so I think that's just the more he plays, the more comfortable he'll get in being able to do that. But he's played a certain style his entire life. He's been relatively healthy his entire life and football career. And so I think it's just a learned behavior. The more reps he gets, the more live game reps he gets, he'll figure that out and know kind of when the party's over and know when to protect himself.
And then in the run game, we've seen Bills yards per carry drop at least the past couple of weeks. What's been going on there, and what do you hope to see from him kind of as he finishes out the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think just overall as an offense, we have to play better. I think if we're able to get some of these outside guys back, that'll help open some things up. There's no doubt teams have been packing the middle and kind of challenging us in some different ways. But Bill's right on track to where you want him to be. He's a young player that's still ascending and figuring the game out. So he's just going to keep working hard, and I'm sure that number will go back up.
Don't want to hit the coffee. Going back to the Jaden's discussion, and obviously protect himself, but as a play caller, how do you view your responsibility in that metric as well?
Yeah, I don't ever call it in a way to try and protect that. So I think that's when you get yourself in trouble. It's just us being on the same page with how he's going to play and being smart. Like I said, we can talk about it all we want, but when he's out there, he's got to understand you're carrying the entire organization with you anytime you're out there, and to be err on the side of caution. If there is a hit, you can take off your body. But I'm going to call it like I call it, try to call it a way that plays in his favor and the way he likes to play, and then we kind of go from there.
Given that you've really truly only had one game with the top three receivers, no camp, no preseason, do you have a sense of what this group could be yet, or still figuring it out?
I don't. I know it looks a lot better at practice, when they're out there. Obviously, guys like that flying around and have done it at a very high level in this league. And so we'll see. We're all just trying to maximize who we are with this group before this thing's over and see what we can become.
Josh Connerly, just thoughts on his progression, and I guess sort of along the same lines, what do you kind of hope to see him? Obviously, another tough matchup this week.
It is, yeah. He's had a bunch of them, but that's life as a rookie in the NFL, and just continue to grow and compete. I think been really proud of the physicality in the run game. Been proud of the resiliency. He had some tough matchups early, going through that streak of those three guys, and came through it and got better each week. And so there's another huge challenge with their rushers, and just continue to fight and learn and. I think everything he's doing is right on track. It's just there's going to be some tough moments as a rookie. Thank y'all.